This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of May 30th, 2022. It's going to be a noisy week. A noisy week. You know how when you're in shock, it takes a while to actually wrap your brain around something that's happened, and then you start to think about what you're going to do about it, and then you actually start talking to other people. That's where we are. Last week's Mercury-Pluto trine put us in shock. Developments in the news put us in shock. And as the week wore on, we started having reactions, some very strong, forceful, subconsciously driven, survival instinct-based reactions. And coming out of that with Mars meeting Jupiter on the 29th, which is what jumpstarts this week of the 30th, massive action, courage, anger. It has not happened yet as I'm recording this. I don't want to venture to elaborate on what it might bring, but for each of us, it is turning our engines on, revving them, and hitting the gas pedal and causing us all to zoom forward. And then everyone's tongue gets unhooked. We're not in shock so much anymore, and we are ready to think, to talk, to consider. The new moon in Gemini on the 30th, in a let's go get 'em relationship to that Mars-Jupiter conjunction, sets a new tone, moves us very clearly out of the intensity of the eclipses that were the Taurus new moon of April 30th and the Scorpio full moon of May 15th or 16th. And now we are thinking, we're flexible, we're going in many directions at once. Gemini is an incredibly versatile sign. It loves to dart here and there and here and there. And this starts a process that's going to get bigger and bigger in the month of June, of being so sick of everything being so heavy and ponderous and looking for lightness, looking for diversion, looking for other ways of thinking about things, looking for distractions. The ruler of that new moon, Mercury, is still in Taurus when the new moon happens, which is not a happy place for him. He likes to dart about, and Taurus is kind of stuck on the ground. And he has one more meeting with Pluto before he actually returns to Gemini. That third meeting will not be until the 10th of June. And yes, if that date catches your ear, it is right after the January 6th Select Committee hearings begin, which are scheduled for June 9. But this week, Mercury does start to undo a few things. He's been retrograde since May 10. He stations direct on June 3rd. Now, he won't be moving quickly, so there will still be kind of a slowish and, again, a looking deep tone to everything because he's not done with those trines to Pluto, so the digging deeper, redoing, revisiting, all of the reves of any retrograde will still be going on for a while, but his direct station does get quite the kickoff. He squares Saturn on the direct station, which is a demand for action, a demand for accountability, a demand for official information, a demand for responsible communication, a demand for talking and acting like adults. And this coincides with a sextile to Neptune. Sextiles are windows, they're outstretched hands, they're things that are on offer. And a sextile between Mercury and Neptune could be incredible imagination. It could be information that causes you to have more of a compassionate or forgiving response to somebody else. It could be an opening onto gaslighting or delusion or getting clues about how someone has, I don't know, been lying. Little bit like the Seven of Cups in the tarot when the figure is looking at all of these phantasms, all these cups with really outlandish objects in them, and it's hard for him to discern, are they phantasms of the mind? What is real? Is there anything that's real in there? Or is it all something that his overactive imagination is presenting to him? Little bit woozy making, not entirely comfortable. There's a nudging, nagging contact between Venus and Mars the same day. There may be something that you feel that you got to deal with, you don't want to deal with. It may have something to do with going after something you want, accepting something that you want. Could be an issue between you and another person and feeling like you'd really rather just sweep things under the rug, but there's this kind of sick feeling telling you you can't do it. And whatever that Mercury-Saturn square entails, which, by the way, could also be a no, an obstacle, a wall, nope, that's not happening. Well, guess what? There may be some reconsideration of it because on June 4th, Saturn begins his annual retrograde, which is going to last into the fall, and it's going to give us an opportunity by the end of the summer to revisit the blows against the empire, shaking the platform to see if it's still sturdy, kicking tires, blasting social groups, all of which happened last year when Saturn and Uranus were squaring. So over the next few months, some revisiting of that happening, and definitely exploring, revisiting whatever the wall, obstacle, no, demand for action is that happens on the 3rd when Mercury stations direct. And noisy as it is, you may actually feel like you're getting somewhere. You may actually feel like information is starting to come out at a level and of a nature that certain things in your life, certain things around you are ever so slightly starting to make sense, or at least take on contours that you can recognize. Homing thought of the week. Let's talk it out. The song of the week is What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, and the image of the week is having breakfast at the Chatterbox Cafe. Remember that from Prairie Home Companion? You'll learn more about this in my forecast for the Gemini new moon and the month of June, both of which are up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the 1st and 3rd Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited in the group The Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I post on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.